typically ride this bike just because it is her bike and the suspension is really soft, but it's such a fun bike to ride. And I think the bars are like crooked. That's kind of throwing me off a little bit. So anyways, that's how fast we can go in this bad boy. I'm gonna do a lap time difference between this and the YZ in here, just to see how much slower this bike is, if at all, in these tight technical woods. I don't feel like it'll be much slower. Just because it's a very nimble bike. It's very fun bike to ride, very nimble. It's fast enough, that's for sure. Like, in terms of a trail bike, I don't feel like, you know, you actually need a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, liquid cooled 4-stroke necessarily, because these bikes do perform really well, and the way the power works on them, you can pretty much, you know, stay on the throttle a lot more than a more powerful bike. And in the woods, it's very important momentum is key. It's kind of like riding a 2-stroke essentially. That's what riding in the woods is like if you want to be fast. It's all about momentum, and you don't necessarily need a ton of power. So the only downfall of these trail bikes, like the KLX140 and the Honda CRF and the TTRs, is really just their suspension. They tend to be a lot more plush and beginner friendly. But in terms of power and what they're like to ride, I don't think people realize how fast and how fun they actually are. They are considered a trail bike, so no, you're not going to be able to go very fast on the motocross track. But as you can see, they're more than capable on trails. Now, obviously, if you upgrade the suspension for your weight, then you can actually jump them. The frames are perfectly fine. You know, because that's more than enough proof to tell you that these bikes are more than capable. I don't think they get the recognition they deserve. I think a lot of people want just more horsepower. And the reality is, you just don't need more horsepower in the woods. You know, I'm probably honestly going faster now on this bike than I am on the two-stroke, because the power is different. The bike is nimble. The suspension could definitely, you know, if I was riding this bike all the time, or, you know, a KLX140R, which is what I would get, I would definitely probably do a suspension upgrade. But if I was riding trails all the time, I don't think I would even, I don't even know if I'd get another bike. I think I would just have the one. Like, you know, I have a lot of motocross tracks around me. I race sprint, enduro, GNCC, and motocross. And so, for me, having the race style bikes does help a little bit. Not to say that I couldn't be competitive in the woods with this, or a 230, but when it comes to motocross, I don't have to like upgrade that bike, you know, from the showroom to ride it on a motocross track. Whereas this, you know, I would definitely bottom it out, probably mess the forks up. So, but in this kind of a thing, where you're riding trails, or you're out like maybe in the Midwest, or you're not around motocross, or you're just not even interested in motocross, you know, this bike is so much more fun to ride. And I honestly, I'm not sure that it wouldn't make you a better rider, because the confidence that it gives you to stay on the power more, and like I said, flow better and keep your momentum up, might actually serve you better than just constantly stop and go, just because you've got too much power, too much torque. You know, right now I'm able to ride this at my limit and at its limit, and consequently it feels more rewarding. It really does, than just absolutely just balls to the walls on a race bike, which honestly, you can't use all the power of that anyways when it's as tight and technical as it is in here. This is very hair scramble-esque. This kind of sprint enduro hair scramble type of riding, not GNCC. GNCC is a lot lighter than this. This is much more open, more like this. The whole track is, just because there's so many riders on a GNCC course at one time, make them a lot wider, which is understandable. But just the flow of this, the overall fun of this, it's just ridiculous. Like how nimble and how fun these are. These air-cooled four-strokes really just don't get the credit they deserve these days, you know. And it wasn't that long ago that it was very common to see air-cooled four-strokes at the International 6 Days of Enduros, like in the 90s and the 80s. And the biggest reason you don't see them anymore is because the weight, and obviously the torque. You know, if you're at the top of the level, you obviously are going to be able to use a lot of the power that is required out of a bike if you're at that pro level. But, and also the courses in enduro races aren't always tight and technical. A lot of them are wide open, so you need that when you go to buy a bike. I do see these at GNCCs, and they are incredibly competitive at the amateur level. And the tighter it is, the better it is, especially if you're in a hair scramble, 2 hours, whatever. And also, they're more fuel efficient, so you don't have to necessarily add bigger tanks to them. They're a lot more, you know, the tanks that they put on them are pretty good. I mean, there's days where Katie will be riding this bike at her pace all weekend and barely fill up with gas. I mean, they're just much more fuel efficient. Also, not to mention reliability. These engines are freaking bulletproof. They're hard to kill, and that is what made them. They're notorious in enduro. You know, a lot of times something that can lose you a race is the mechanical, especially in the world of enduro. And these bikes, other than flat tires or, you know, certain things that were very minor, rarely did anything go wrong with them. And that's the impressive part about it. So, try to hit that wide. Try not to hit those, don't want to hit those rocks just because don't want to bend a wheel or nothing, but definitely like riding this thing fast. So, if you're new to motorcycles or, you know, you're not sure what to get, I definitely would consider a bike like this. And if you want the speed then, and the torque, then obviously something like a two-stroke, any of the KTMs, Huskies, Yamahas are the way to go. But if you know you want something more relaxed, but you can still cruise in and go speed and go fast and have the speed and sort of be somewhat competitive, I would definitely say is a good option. I don't for a second feel like I'm going slow. So fun to ride. The way the power is, the suspension is not bad at all for trails. I mean, if I can, what I'll do is I will add a timer to the video and do a time comparison between the two bikes, the YZ250X and this. So you can see what the difference is. Very comfortable riding this bike. Take my hand off while riding. And I don't feel like I'm just completely out of control. The stability on these bikes are so good. is, I feel like, you know, yes, they are considered a beginner bike, but, you know, I don't feel like, with the trails being as technical as these are, I don't feel like I'm not having fun. I don't feel like I'm going slow. Seriously, I don't. I mean, yeah, does it take time to get up and go? Yes. But is it a slow bike? No. Oh, turtle. Fun, I swear. So fun. I really enjoyed that. Bike going. Sounds good. Feels good. I always want to take care of her bike. It is hers, and she really enjoys riding. So don't want to mess it up for sure. But you know, it's I just don't feel like you can. I don't feel like you will.
How was it?
Just cruising. Your bike is fun. I mean, it's quick. How long was I gone?